Are there any other books that are separate of the models that you, as a crossover, because you're kind of a liaison between the business world and the psychological world? Are there any really good books out there that you would recommend to our readers, for those of them who still read?
I really find the books that aren't written by the psychologists quite good.
How about
unless you're a Peterson fan, and so psychology is often referred to as a religion. There are different schools of thoughts within psychology, so you'll have psychologists talking about the same thing with different point of views. So there's always then they are the behaviorist school of thought, or they are the cognitive school of thought, and then you get all kinds of very smart people especially in the brain research that they're doing, like Huberman, for example.
Oh, I love Huberman.
But like people like Dan Pink.
Oh, I love Dan Pink.
Those guys and they're extremely good. They take the complexity of psychology and they just simplify it a little bit.
Very American.
In our industry, psychologists aren't very good at doing that.
Yeah.
So we like being in the cloud of mystery.
You like to keep it academic.
Yeah, psychologists are academics.
Yeah.
That's why you don't get those. But those types of people I find more influential in our field, even though they're not psychologists, but they make things actionable.
Yeah. What about John Strelicky and Big Five for Life? That's kind of goes into. Are you familiar with him?
No,
okay.
I'm not. But I have a friend in the UK who wrote a book about the Big Five. The thing with personality is we need to experience it to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I've read a lot of books on psychology and human behavior, but I've learned by seeing extreme behaviors to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did my work in prisons in South Africa, for example, I understood what a psychopath actually looks like versus what people say, oh, my boss is a psychopath. Or when I worked in post-clinic institutes, what depression really looks like, or what anxiety really looks like, or what you have to experience it. Or that's how I learned a lot. It's just through experience. So reading a book is one thing, but just
Yeah. You open up another topic. Well, since I have a psychologist who's also in business, two hot topics. One, the mental health issue in the workplace today. What is your stance or perception of that right now?
Real concern. Yeah. A lot of my clients, and I speak to a lot of people, I am a little bit concerned. Not just a little bit, I am very concerned. Even the digital workplace is overloading people more. We're dealing with more complexity. AI is pushing the complexity level even higher, and we're not meant for this kind of stuff. So I can see more burnout now. I can see anxiety. I can see depression, and just the general overwhelmed feeling I'm seeing more and more. So even last year already, I saw this year is going to be a resilience year. So that is going to be another topic, just resilience on its own, which we also assess, by the way. Is a hot topic at the moment. And if it continues at this trajectory, I would predict more fallout to come. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're just not connected to each other anymore. There's the whole thing, but I am just concerned. Yeah.
Another hot topic, which I have been following for many decades. I once read, if you want to read a harrowing but very interesting book on psychology, the premier psychologist from the U.S. Army, I forget what his name is, taught at West Point, wrote a book called On Killing.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go into the whole psychology of that, but it's very interesting and actually says a lot about humanity, which is positive. But he talks, there's one excerpt in there that will always be emblazoned in my mind and has followed me over the decades, since I interact with both teams that are being led and complain about their leaders and leaders who are trying to push the envelope and complain about their workers. I'm kind of in the in-between. And he was talking about the concept of psychopathy. And I'm gonna massacre the scientific element of this, but this is basically what he said. He was talking about a concept that there's obviously psychopaths and sociopaths are a minority in society. I forget what the percentage was that he used for psychopathy. I think it was 8%. And he kind of came up with this concept that said, and I don't think this is accurate numbers. He said half of them, so 4% of them are negative psychopaths, and half of them are what he would deem positive psychopaths. And what he basically did, he used also a trait-based assessment of them. One of the things that psychopaths are good at is they're good at making decisions. Okay, they're good at divining. If I've got two different options, okay, if I'm doing the I circle of P.A.P.I, I know which answer to give right away, and I can live with the consequences. And he denoted the difference between positive and negative is that positive psychopaths are work according to this because of the need, but when they return to society, they are integrated and normal. They don't feel the need to do drastic things. It's just I don't know what the term would be, a kind of a reflexive thing. And the other ones, they thrive off of